Again. Right then. Massive apologies, everyone. Technical difficulties have unfortunately hit us here on my last World GT broadcast, as indeed they hit us on my very first World GT broadcast. This is Imola. We've started the race already. Lots has happened. My name is James Kirk. Mike Pitman has been working effortlessly. Get your words right, James. Effortlessly to get this stream up and running. We are here though. We are racing. Alex Cooper got pole. Alex Cooper's currently leading. We have a few retirements in the form of David Stanton, Riku Sapila, Oskari Kantonen, Franklin Stedding, Daniel Beck, Mark Fuller, Sven de Vries. Carnage has happened. We're at Imola. Racing's good so far.
Yeah, you're going to have to deal with me an awful lot today, I'm afraid, because I'm now multitasking like 3 or 4 different things to try and get this working. So my apologies if I feel silent at any point, James. I'm sure you'll pick up the mantle.
No worries. No, well, I think solo commentary should be alright. I've been at uni for the past 4 days, so I've half forgotten how to do commentary myself, so hopefully we will be alright in, well, it says on my screen, again, no specific laps or percentages, we're going up to an hour's racing. 0.3 of those 1 hours has been used up so far. I don't believe we've even got specific time management or whatever. We don't know generally what's going on, so hopefully we'll mumble through this. We were going to probably do highlights commentary, and then we just thought, well, actually there is a solution here. We can do this. We can do live racing. And so what's been the story of the race so far? So at the start, Sven de Vries got an absolute cracker. He was on the front row of the grid with Alex Cooper, got into the lead. There was a bit of first corner contact, and David Stanton, who qualified very well with his brother Mark Stanton and the Constants making their full return since quite a few races, went off and suffered damage in those opening laps, which meant that he retired, unfortunately. And oh, hello, what's going on here? Right, one of the people who I was going to talk about was Oscar Hardwick, who hadn't put in much practice, had a very good qualifying lap, was in 10th, got up into the podium position, and I think this is actually just my timing. He's been lagging for an awful lot of this race, and I believe he is actually in 3rd, although my timing screen says he's going down and down. Yeah, he's definitely 3rd. So he's basically moved his way up from 10th to 3rd in the space of 10 laps. Really good effort from Oscar, and especially after dominating 2 of the 3 races of the Masters just last night. If you haven't heard, Masters, first ever Hot Back to 2 event happened. Great success we hear, though Oscar was very dominant, as he would like to be. It's good to see him back on form, really, after being, unfortunately, put to bed in the Super Cup by Giuseppe Ranieri. He's really excelling, though, in World GT and in the Masters and in tin tops in general, and it's good to see that he's happy driving these cars and having so much success with them.
Sorry, yes, you're right. My apologies.
No, it's actually right. I was going to go on to someone else, so have you got anything to add to that?
Not this very moment, mate. I'll probably come back to it. My apologies. I'm sure I'll come back into this as we go through. But yes, then I'm just trying to work out where everyone is at the moment, because like you say, we haven't got any live timings. I would run the live timings as well, but I can't run that and the stream. So again,
and I think a stream is to the live timings, and what I can do as the commentator for you people is I can give you a rundown of our point scorers so far. So we've got Alex Cooper in the lead, and he's leading by 1.2 seconds from a very active debutant in Jason Muscat. He's only 1.2 seconds behind the 3 times race winner, and indeed our 2013 Drivers' Champion, as crowned last time out. Well, actually, where were we last time out? I've completely forgotten.
Did we Bruno? We did Bruno. We did.
It was Bruno, wasn't it? That
Yes.
was Bruno. Yeah. So Alex Cooper got the Drivers' Championship there. Jason Muscat keeping him, and in fact he is catching on Alex Cooper. He's got the gap down to 1.1 seconds. So that's going to be a battle that we're going to keep an eye on during this race. Oscar Hardwick, as I say, is in third. He's about 8 seconds behind the leader. And you've got David Junt, who had a very good round last time out at Brno. Pole position and fastest lap, but unfortunately he was pipped to the post due to a very, very long pit stop, and only took second to Vodbull's James Johnson, who is in fact the man behind him at the moment in 5th place. Was struggling a lot in free practice, actually, was James Johnson. Was looking good in general practice, but then when it came to free and qualifying, he just didn't seem to show the same pace, and he's currently about 18 seconds off the lead now, so
he's really struggling in the middle sector. Seems his real problem.
But the middle sector is the most technical sector, from what we know. He's been had to hopscotch it across London pretty much, like I have myself, in fact, to get to this event.
It was one of those. It was a bit touch and go. He missed the Masters yesterday that you alluded to, but he's here tonight, which is good.
It is. I mean, attendance is always good, and he is currently now second in the championship, 79 points, ahead of Lucas Euler, who isn't here. We believe Lucas Euler has formally retired from the series now, given that given that Midnight Motorsport has won the constructors' title, which was the round before Brno, which was, I think, Nürburgring, if I can remember correctly. No, actually, I think it was the one after Nürburgring, wasn't it? It was Bathurst. You're absolutely right.
Look at that memory. Fantastic.
Memory's a wonderful thing when you actually have it, but when you've been partying for 3 nights in 1 week, it does tend to escape you a lot of the time. That's what I've learned anyway.
Understandable?
You got... Understandable, yeah, I hope it is anyway. Oscar Hardwick is currently 4th in the drivers, 67 points. David Junt is behind him on 59. And Boyd Bryson, who has been in the top 5 for the majority of this championship, has been bumped out of that due to Junt's good performance and Oscar Hardwick's good performance, and indeed Johnson's good performances. He's currently on 47 behind David Junt, and I did see him at this event, but he qualified quite lowly, and in fact currently he is now P17 for FA Racing. So out of the points, and unfortunately I think that Boyd's dream run in the GTs has sort of come crashing down to earth, unfortunately, which is a shame, because he was putting in some really good results. If I remember correctly, got a podium even at Spa-Francorchamps in the monsoon weather. So it's a shame, but we hope to see that Boyd will be next year, coming back next year at least, to try and build on what's been, to be brutally honest, a very successful campaign for the South African. Looking at the teams championship, I'm making sure I call it the teams now. It's not the constructors. The constructors are the cars, teams are the teams. Vodbull is on 93, and behind them is Resurgent Nordschen Racing. Unfortunately, Franz Schneider's not here again to support his teammate David Junt, but at the same time James Johnson, who did have a new teammate in Oskari Canton, multiple time Formula Challenge race winner, unfortunately Canton has disconnected already, and so both teams are now down to 1 driver each. CSG's unrepresented, they're currently in 4th with 62 points.
Oh, and David Junt just avoids Morby there spinning in front of him. That was very close to call there.
I tell you what, the TSA boys have been really... They've been under fire this round in a couple of events. a lot of the paddock have been sort of saying, well, you know, they're far too aggressive, you know, they're punting people off, so on, so on, so on, and I think it's a real shame, because especially for a team that prides itself, oh yeah, I should know, I'm co-team owner, you know, we pride ourselves being good, clean racers, and I think it's a real shame that, you know, something's obviously just not picked, and either they're not comfortable with the car, or they're not fully aware of their surroundings.
My apologies, got some actual action on my camera. Who'd have thought it? Got Palm trying to take Mina Clont, which is a decent little battle with, they've actually got, Palm's just gone wide out of that corner completely and probably lost himself half a second. Just overdoing it, I'd have thought there. Does mean Mark Stanton's on his tail now though.
This battle at the brink of the top 10 has been raging since the get-go. And oh no, I see Jordan Weeks is retired. He had a very good qualifying, was 8th at FSS Motorsport. Unfortunately, he records another retirement this season. Really not his series, World GT for Jordan Weeks. But going back to this battle now, I tell you what, Minoclon, he was a emergency driver for Mia Zurich, Matt Renault. He's fully signed for Racing Team Stroton here. And a massive tank slapper for Mark Stanton there. I believe he's actually fully replacing Roy Stroton there, and doing a very good job with it as well. It'd be good to see Menno come back to World GT next year, because I believe he would be a very consistent top 10 runner.
Oh, I agree.
Same goes for Palm. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say about his teammate as well in the Scrotum while we're at it. We've got the new, Van den Brink, isn't it, with him?
Yeah, Theo Van den Brink.
That's the one. Who's just caught up to the back of that group as well now, so it almost makes it a four-way battle there.
Theo's been actually very, very competent. He made his debut in the WSS with Racing Team Stroton, and I believe was Magny Course, so the penultimate round. And this is certainly one to watch out for. You know, not every race-winning driver starts out at the front. Some really need time to get there, and Theo has been one of those drivers, like a couple of new drivers, which as Enterprise GP, I've sort of been keeping an eye on them, seeing whether I can't nick them for my own team. And Theo's been one of those guys who's really impressed. You know, he's not really hassled many people in terms of being aggressive. He's just got the job done. And in this day and age of sim racing, where there are disconnections, there's over-aggression at times, maybe little aggression, sometimes just having a guy there who is on midfield pace, is able to keep to the back of others, capitalise on others' mistakes, and just bring home the car and bring home some good points. That's some very, very, very valuable assets that Theo holds, and I think he's definitely going to be one of those drivers that will sort of be silently moving up the drivers' market, and it'd be interesting to see where he heads in 2014, whether he's going to just stick exclusively to tin tops, or maybe even have a crack in the open wheeler market.
Oh, I'd agree. I mean, at the moment I'm crying out in my team for somebody who can consistently bring some points back with James in GT. It's just one of those. But I want to mention why we are broadcasting slightly. Alessandro couldn't be here. I want to wish his dad the best of health, and that unfortunately why he can't be here for now, but I'm sure everyone would join us in wishing him best of health at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think we're all a community here at GPVWC. We all love sim racing, and although some of us might squabble from time to time, at the end of the day, real life issues take priority, and if something goes wrong for some reason or another in a personal life, then usually you will see the entire community banding together and wishing everyone well. And generally from the broadcast, I mean, it's only really myself and Mike here in the broadcast room at the moment, but from both of us, sincerely,
we might be the only people even on this. Don't know if anyone's watching or anything. Could just be you and me having fun ourselves here.
It could be. I mean, I think we should be uploading this to YouTube anyway, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anyway, best of wishes to Alessandro and his family and his dad from ourselves, and hopefully the rest of the GPWC community. But yeah, as you rightly say, it's very valuable at the end of the day, and especially for a team in your position. You're second in the constructors, but when you got Nordchen sort of building up their momentum, got to start looking at drivers, what they're doing for you, and Yeah, I think RTS have played a very good move here in signing up Mano and Theo, because both of them are doing a very good job currently, P8 and P11.
I agree. Sorry, just to split up, right at the front, Jason Muscat right on Cooper's tail now. He's doing a fantastic job there. An actual battle for the lead. When was the last time we could say that? Oh, and Cooper's gone quite wide there as well.
Oh wow, this is brilliant, isn't it? I mean, we're a bit, I guess it's a bit more relaxed. I usually be shouting all over the place, but I simply do not have the energy to do that today. But yeah, Jason Muscat is really, I cannot emphasise enough, this is his debut. I was trying to think back to when I saw Jason Muscat in World GT before, and the reason I couldn't remember is because he has never been in World GT before, and I think this is another great example of opportunistic team management, because Paul Watkins is the owner of TWR, and I believe his son John Watkins did drive for the team back at Nürburgring, was looking okay but didn't actually score any points, and he said, look, we need to get some points in the bag, try and move ourselves at the table. And what he did was he signed up Sven de Vries, who has been exiled from CSG, very fast driver, and unfortunately he has retired, but you can definitely see where he was going, brilliant signing. And he's got Jason Muscat here, and you just look at this now. He is hassling the back of Alex Cooper, and usually we've seen Alex Cooper either second, the leader crashes and he capitalises and runs away with it, or he's been at the front and has just run away with it.
The speed that Muscat's got there, look at this, he's going for it.
He's going to go around the outside here of turn, I think this is turn 2, he's nearly doing. I reckon he might get past Alex Cooper in the next couple of laps, so I think he went a little bit wiggly during that little Sacchini section there. Yeah, Jason, I mean, this is brilliant. The only time we saw Cooper really struggle.
Cooper going very wide there again.
Taking a lot of the asphalt, isn't he?
Yeah, I know you can get away with it a bit there, but it just just shows he's not quite in control of his car there.
Oh, that's Oscar Hardwick lagging out.
I was going to say, yeah, that was a...
Oh, that is my word. I do wonder whether he's disconnected here.
I'm thinking so, because I'm showing him in the stands, so I don't think he's going to be around anytime soon.
Oh my word, this is
yeah.
I think he's just about hanging on in there, but anyway, back to the lead. Yeah, as we say, sometimes I've seen Alex Cooper struggling really is in the monsoon weather at Spa, when he was in the lead after Jason Muscat was all over the place, and always Oscar Hardwick. Okay, Oscar Hardwick's down in 5th now, so he's definitely had an off somewhere. Oh dear, I think this might very well be a soon enough retirement for Hardwick if he doesn't get that ping rate down. That means David Johnson is up into the podium once again. James Johnson up.
Muscat made a bit of a mistake there and lost a bit of space there.
It's a shame. He really wanted to keep pressure on Cooper. And oh, hello, both of them pits. Oh, and that is because we are at half distance. So look at this. They're going pretty much nose to tail into the pit lane here at Imola. Quite a long pit lane, must be said.
Still thinking this is a very early, aren't we? We always say this every time. Pit stops at halfway never seem to work, do they?
And look who's going round again then. David Johnson takes the lead of this race.
So Johnson goes round as well.
So Johnson moves up into 2nd. One thing that destroyed David Johnson's race, though, to be brutally honest, was his long pit stop. Had he not been in there for so long, he would have been out and ahead of James Johnson. I see Michael Ballard's there as well, so that means that Kenny Lee Bear there.
He's gone round, yeah.
For Waters Automotive, doing very well here today is Kenny the Belgian.
Vandenbrink's
and he is going to...
Palm Stanton and Morby go round.
But Morby's lap behind, I think.
Oh, sorry.
There's Cooper going out. Where is Muscat? So
he's still stationary.
Okay.
Oh, he's going now.
Yeah, Cooper stops much shorter, I'd say, there on Muscat, because they were nose to tail, weren't they, when they came in?
Oh, definitely. It depends. I mean, you've seen so many. We always hear afterwards. So many of these drivers making small errors with fuel. Whether that's at the start, in the pit stop, they got too much at the end, they haven't got enough. Like, it's amazing really. How many rounds are we in now? Is this 9? 8? 9?
This is 8, we've got the final one. Oh, who's that retired? Okay, Oscar Hardwick has called in.
He has gone now, is he?
Oscar's out.
Yeah, we're on it's crazy to think the penultimate round, and yeah, unfortunately this will be my last broadcast as uni calls, unfortunately. I simply don't have the time from my schedule to hop back to my house to be able to shat my head.
My apologies there, guys. I seem to have lost James. I will bring him back now, but David Junt does go around for another lap there. Coming up onto the lapped Morton Bernison.
They're going to have a lot better tyres than you there.
Sorry, James, did disappear, but we are back.
We are back. Okay,
the
sorry.
stream kept going. We just lost you.
Okay, right. That's all right then. So, what were we saying? So we were talking about the pit stops, weren't we? Yeah. Unfortunately, this is going to be my last broadcast. Uni calls. Schedule physically does not allow me to head back home to shout my head off. And I don't think my flatmates would rather appreciate me shouting my head off in a hall with very thin walls. But it's been an excellent journey for certain, and although the championship was, or both championships I should say, were done and dusted in the 2 rounds prior to this, it's been a fantastic experience, and especially for a first year it's made such an impact in the community as well. It's become a real fan favourite.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know I only commentate on this one, but this has been such a great season, really. It is a little shame that we couldn't get the titles going a little further into the season, but it does make that these 2 races just a bit fun for everyone, doesn't it? Everyone lets themselves just lets their hair down a little bit, I suppose, for want of a better term.
Well, it's absolutely true. It's only once a month. The only exception to the rule was the 2nd and 3rd round, I think. So Austria and Spa, which were held 3 weeks apart, as opposed to 4 weeks apart and in the same month. But it's just that extra race which people can just sort of think, well, yeah, it's sort of a one-off race, isn't it? It's not like you're consistently going from bi-weekly race to bi-weekly race and thinking, oh, well, I've got this championship to worry about, and then I've got... Some guys just come in here on a one-race basis and they still have fun. They might swings. At the end of the day, it's one of those mods which is relatively fun to drive if you're in a good car, which you enjoy driving. Good battles, great experiences, and then at the end of the day, if you get, it's a bonus.
Oh, definitely. It's just good fun, this. I'm just saying quite a few have pitted now, but we've still got Johnson out front, and Martin Palm didn't pit either, or Thomas Jacobs. Yeah, they're the ones now still ahead of what was our leader, of Cooper. And Muscat has lost an awful lot of ground, didn't he, through that pit stop? I don't know what he's done differently there. There was rumour before this race, you know, that we might get some 0 stoppers potentially trying it.
There was, yeah.
Whether that is even possible or worth thinking about, I don't know. But
the two I've heard about are Mike Bell, who is very, very... I mean, he's always... If there's going to be an alternate strategy, Mike Bell will be the one to go for it, whether it's better tyre wear, better fuel saving. He will have found some crazy way to get it working, so I think he's going to try that with the Mia Zurich racing car. And I also think that Scott Bennett, who's driving for ST once again in their new Lamborghini car. Good to see the Lamborghini out again. Scott Bennett currently in P10, and oh, right alongside Menno Clons, who's onto the grass. That was a bit close. These two battling very close together for E10 and P11 there. But Scott Bennett has held on to P10 in his lovely red Lamborghini now, not yellow.
What did you describe them as earlier in the season when it was red?
Oh, no.
I know that wasn't them, but
it was the red hemorrhoid BMW.
That was
Matt
the one.
Richards.
So is this not a hemorrhoid Lambo? Is this going to be?
Well, you could call it a hemorrhoid Lambo if you want, but the fun thing about the hemorrhoid from Spa was that it was coming through the mist, and it was just one that it was like so out of sight. You know, the fact is, it's quite a nice sort of blood red to me. Very dark, very elegant. I do like, you know, that sort of red, and so I won't sort of...
It's alright.
I won't
so
judge
he's actually he's lost his place to Clont anyway. He's under right pressure now from Frodo Hansen, so that strategy's obviously not working for him.
Also, I've seen James Johnson is pitted as has Palm, as has Jacobs, so we're going to see where Johnson's going to come in now. Alex Cooper and Jason Muscat have passed him, and actually I think this has worked out quite nicely for James Johnson. Indeed it has. He comes out into P... Actually, I think we're going to have to see what happens with David Junt, because that's the person... Oh, and there goes Nico Dukonikov into the gravel. But the person he was battling with was David Junt, wasn't he? David Junt was ahead of Johnson at that point.
Obviously, in the meantime, with all this pit stuff as well, we have lost Hardwick as well, which sort of promotes everyone up a bit.
Yeah, we did say that.
Yeah, just thinking, actually, I don't think we made a big deal of that, actually, but that's quite a big thing for the drivers' standings. I know it's not the championship anymore.
Yes.
But I suppose, considering he's won the battle as for the second place, with Euler not...
He might lose out to Junt, I think, at this rate, actually. If Junt continues going the way he is.
Junt's in the pits.
He is indeed. So the last of our main runners here at the front to pit. Above now it's Linus Stern. So we're going to see whether Alex Cooper can beat David Junt here, or whether Jason Muscat can get round him. We'll see whether James Johnson can do it as well. But James Johnson is a good 20 seconds back from Alex Cooper and Jason Muscat at the moment. So I reckon David Junt
like
will
Cooper's
most likely
coming
be
round, as is Muscat.
I think so. I reckon. Oh, I really hope that he doesn't have a slow pit stop again. Where's Johnson?
He's still sat in the pit. Oh, he's on his move. He's moving it.
Okay, right. So it looks to me that David Johnson's going to slot into third. So it's going to be pretty much as it was. Yeah, Johnson just coming onto the pit straight now. I think it's going to be closer than what it was, actually, because here comes Johnson now. He's onto the pit straight. He's gone around the final corner. There's Johnson ahead of him. So the gap is definitely closer than what it was, but David Junt has been able to hold on to P3 there for Norgen Racing. Jason Muscat is about 8 seconds up the road from Junt at this point, and 3 seconds ahead of him is Alex Cooper once again, who dominated qualifying and is currently looking for his 4th win of the year. And if he does that, Mike, then that will mean that he has scored 4 times as many wins as every other person who has won a race this year.
That's an interesting stat. Shame we haven't got Lewis here. He'd love that, wouldn't he? Loves his stats.
He would. But the other, in case you've forgotten, of course, the other race winners were Dave Carr-Smith, who won all the way back Monza, Lucas Euler.
So long ago, doesn't it? That?
It does. That was crazy long ago. We haven't had a simming car in a race since Nürburgring, which was in fact where we had our second different winner, which was Lucas Euler, who won at his home track. Then we had Oscar Hardwick at Bathurst, and then of course James Johnson, who won at Brno. And that was a great win for Johnson, actually. I mean, Johnson's finishing rate had gone down and down every single race, and he finally managed to get back up to the high, which was lovely to see. Lovely to see new winners all the time. But you just see from there, Alex Cooper has 3 wins to his name already. 4 if he wins this race. You can see why he won the driver's title with such a convincing fashion, really.
Oh yeah, of course. Some of these drivers, of course, didn't do all the races that Alex has done, but even then, you still look at it and go, well, actually, the amount he has done and won, he'd still be ahead anyway. This gap from Johnson Junt is it just me, or is it going down slightly?
What, to Muscat?
Sorry, Junt and Johnson. I haven't got the timers in front of me, I'm only gone visually.
Well, the gap between the two of them is 1.7 seconds, so Johnson, who of course will be on the warmer tyres at this rate, will be a bit more worn into them. Yeah, I'd say he is absolute matching the Swiss even, sorry I should say. At a reasonable pace, I would say, at the moment. Jason Muscat as well, making small indents for the leader. He's gained a 10th on his last lap to Alex Cooper. A 10th in that sector again. So keep an eye on Jason Muscat. I think he might very well have the pace to overtake Alex Cooper if he gets the right opportunity. Going through the rest of the top 10 at the moment, we've got Michael Ballard still holding out there in 5th, which is very good for him, because very fast driver, being a bit unlucky in the half season which he's taken part in so far, and I think a good 5th position for him would be a good morale booster for the Laurentian Grand Prix lads. Kenny Liebert, Kenny Liebert's actually really benefited from this. He was in the battle for P9 to P12, wasn't he? And he's ended up in P6 due to his later pit stop. So really good pit stop from the Belgian there, and he's in a good position now to try and impress some of the teams possibly for next year. Menno Klomp is holding out in P7 ahead of Theo van den Brink. Look how well those two are doing now, P7 and P8.
It's going to be a great team result, that.
He's definitely moved up the order, hasn't he? Because Menno was 8th and Theo was 11th.
Yeah,
Theo's
Mike Bell, look at him. He's holding everyone up. Just Thomas Jacobs and Mark Stanton just Oh, they're literally in tailstream and he's just blocking them everywhere. This is... to be honest, it's probably a little bit too aggressive, but nonetheless.
God, you can
makes
see,
good watching.
Look at Mark Scanton. Mark Scanton,
That was a nice cut. Yeah.
Bit of rally crossing there from the Englishman.
I think you can do that in that car. It's fantastic.
You can indeed. And I tell you what, the advantage that Mike Bell has here is that he's got a shorter wheelbase car. He can get it turned in much better. And as we see Thomas Jacobs trying to look to the outside, oh, is he going to get it around the outside of the chicane here? Actually, Mike Bell's holding in there, but oh, good move from Thomas Jacobs. That's an excellent move to go around the outside of that first chicane section there. And is Mike Bell going to have a look through? No, I think that Mike Bell's going for the no stop, isn't he? So
yeah, which is going to really, really harm him, I'd imagine, come the end of the race. Those tyres are going to be
visibly slower, isn't he? You can look at Mark Stanton there, right down the inside of Mike Bell as well, as we come up over this ridge here to the right, heading into, and I think is Mark Stanton going to get the corner? He's on the inside. But look at Mike Bell holding around the outside. Good defensive driving. Mark Stanton still sticking it in there. These two are side by side, still heading through sector 2. Mark Stanton on the outside, Mike Bell on the inside in the Mia Zurich McLaren. Mark Stanton was again slightly chipping the corner to try and get the inside line, I believe, if my...
He's ahead now, isn't he? Just
knowledge corrects me. Yeah, we're going into the chicane here, and yet that is position to Mark Stanton.
Job done. The actual battle we can watch with Bell is going to be Bennett, who now is just behind him. Well, not just behind him, but next car down the line. It's only about, what, 2 seconds back, something like that. They're obviously on the similar strategy, aren't they?
Yeah, but they've got to watch out for Morten Wernerson, who's behind in the... I love the Viking livery. Very Lotusy, isn't it? The black and gold in the Mercedes SLS.
Oh yeah, it's lovely.
He's very close behind as well, and he can certainly do a lot of damage if he is in already. You've got Boyd Bryson there, 1 lap behind, but he's in the points. He's actually getting 2 points at present, and then Matthew Williams, amazingly, is still... He always finds some way of getting points, as Matt. I'm not quite sure how he does it, and I'm not going to even judge how he does it until I've seen evidence of, whether he just avoids accidents, whether he causes accidents or whatnot. But he manages to find himself up in those point positions every time. And I guess he's similar to Theo van der Brink in that respect.
Has he pitted yet, by the way?
I think he has pitted, yeah.
If he has, that's fine. Sorry, I must have missed him somewhere along the line. Just thought Nico de Cognac, sort of the next one down from him, I think, which...
Yeah, de Cognac.
Yeah.
He's got George Sumalis there for TriStar from the company as well, so those two are actually battling for position. And poor old de Cognac has, he has his bonnet off as well, so... Bit less weight on that car.
Yes. He's obviously been in the wars somewhere.
There's been a lot of people in the wars. How many people started? I think there's 30 people started this race. And so far we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that 11th retirement is in fact Martin Palm, who was running as one of the later pitters. He's had an engine issue, and I reckon that might very well have come from overheating in the pit.
That's a real shame for him though, because he was in that battle as well, and I think he was actually going to come out quite well from that, but sort of around the Klont Vandenbrink area.
Yeah, I think that's where Libert, Klont and Vandenbrink really capitalised, wasn't it? They just saw, Palm's already gone.
Somebody I haven't really mentioned much is Michael Ballard. He's sort of on his own. He's, what was he, 5th behind Johnson, but ahead of Kenny Libert. I mean, he seems to be having quite a boring race so far, but I suppose if he comes back with 5th, he's not going to complain.
He's not going to complain with the boring race, to be honest, Mike, considering all the incidents he's been in. And none of them his fault, unfortunately, as well.
It is a shame because he seems to top a lot of the free practices, and he does well in qualifying and stuff, and it never quite works out for him.
He led a race at Silverstone as well, didn't he?
He has had some decent drives. I mean, it just seems to not quite click that whole race, or for a full hour, or the full weekend, or there's something that's always up. Another one that could have potential for next year if he finds the right team, the right drive, and a bit more consistency maybe.
Well, I can certainly tell you right now that I'm looking at him as in myself and Mike's. I mean, we have been in negotiations for quite a while because he is part of the TSA group, as it is, along with Thomas Jacobs. So they're both linked drivers, and that's probably why they're driving for the same team here.
Cheap plug.
P-plug, yeah. But yeah, it's surprising to think that Mike's is actually on a controller himself. And this World GT, really, he's had one other different sim racing experience, but World GT was his first ever sim racing experience, and straight away he's been on the pace. He's a very underrated driver, I feel, and I'm certainly going to try my best to sign him up for Enterprise GP next year if I can get my team in. And also he gives us a chance to look at the wonderful Jaguar, which I think Laurentian's the only Jaguar team now in the league, and it's lovely to see that car out and about on a regular basis. But looking back up at the gap at the front, Alex Cooper is starting to pull away now, isn't he? We're nearing the end of this race. I think we've got about 15 minutes left, I reckon. As we say, we've got no idea ourselves. We don't have any timings or whatever. But he is currently. It's going to be
a surprise to us when the race ends, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the issue with our fact is that it says that race is 1.0 hours, so done. But it has like another 2 minutes to go, so we won't really be able to tell when the race has ended until the leader slows down. So whenever that happens, we'll obviously see. But Alex Cooper leads Jason Muscat by 3.5 seconds, and that gap has been holding at that rate for a good lap and a half now. So I do wonder whether Alex Cooper has got this under control. Then you've got David Junt there. I mean, once again, David Junt, he's been having a quiet race. We were talking about James Johnson really starting to get onto the back of Junt, but the Swiss has opened up that gap once again to about, 2.7 seconds now. So the Swiss doing a really, really nice job then. We keep on saying it's just the rise of Norton, isn't it? He seems to be more confident with the car every race, and although it's not exactly as clear a progression in results as we see, and of course, David Junt was with the highs of pole position, fastest lap second last race, but he's consistently up there now and looking to be heading to his third podium of the year.
Oh, definitely, he's pulled out a gap here. He looks quite comfortable now if he just keeps this going. But particularly the last couple of races have been really impressive. I know he is putting a lot more time into World GT now, which is great to see that someone loves this mod that much that they're committing to this series a little bit more. Whereas some drivers that do drive at the highest level in other series and career ladder, they don't necessarily give this as much time. But it's really nice to see, and it's paying off, because you look at it and go, well, actually, yeah, could have had the win last time out. Looks like he's on a good course for a podium here, and he's had a pole before and stuff. So he's showing it, isn't he?
And see, where did he qualify as well? He didn't qualify that badly at all. He was P5, and so he's definitely up there. And I think this is one of the stories of the season, isn't it? We talk about Alex Cooper being here pretty much all season and just being there to get the results. I think the one problem that World GT has had this season is that it's been the first season of World GT. Well, technically we had the Winter GT, but in terms of a full yearly season, this has been the first one. And so not many people knew about how well they could do, and not many people were sort of willing to risk having a go with it. But I think looking into next year, if we are sticking with the same mod, which I think is looking more and more likely as the days go by, I reckon we could be seeing a very, very good drivers and teams championship next year, because we're going to have all these people who've sort of built up their confidence, built up their speed this year, going into next year and really posing a good threat to Alex.
Yeah, I'd hope so. I mean, some of the drivers that we know can pose the threat to him, where we have had Dave Carl-Smith in, we used to have Euler in, and these people obviously can pose the threat. Even to a point, the other Cooper, we had in Jake, Jake did show a lot of pace. A very unlucky guy, but nonetheless, there was a lot of people around who had the pace to potentially win this championship, but for one reason or another missed a couple of rounds or two, and it's not panned out that way.
I think Jake was the one, when I first saw him, was the one guy who I thought, wow, he can really bring the challenge to him, because he got two. He is still, actually, is he? No, he's not. My apology. Before this round, he was still the man with the most positions at 2 pole positions. Because Alex Cooper got pole today, that means that he now equals his Cooper brethren's position there in the number of poles they've attained this season. But at both the races he got pole position, which was Austria and Spa, he dominated the race up until the halfway point pretty much, and then it just all fell apart. And after that then he just didn't seem to be the same driver. He sort of be in and amongst it, but he'd get caught up in some incident, and whether it be before or after the stop, it was just consistency which he lacked. And at the end of the day, consistency is what you need to win a championship, and even on a race by race level, to win races, which he was clearly capable of doing.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, there's quite a few that have been capable of that, but yeah, he particularly did have that skill that I'm not sure why. I keep trying to remember the reasons. I mean, I do remember crashing the pit lane at one stage, a few others, but nonetheless.
Oh, Spa was awful, wasn't it, when he spun it in the pit lane so that his car was exactly perpendicular to the walls of the pit entrance. And
Oh yes,
that was 90-degree
yeah.
turn.
Took him forever, didn't it? Oh, bless him. It was like the most unlucky thing. You couldn't have made it up.
To be fair though, he still finished the race in 5th though. And that was his
just
finish.
gone off there, and he's lost out to Jacobs.
Oh yeah.
Vandenbrink actually was ahead of him already anyway. We missed that, but he had gone past. So Plonk not doing too well there. He's actually got Stanton coming up now.
That's very interesting, isn't it? Because Clont we've usually seen as very competitive Super Cup driver, and we saw him do very well last time out with the Mia Zurich guys. Mike Stroton there as his teammate in Brno. But Theo van den Brink, I am so impressed with him this race. Currently now P7, can you believe? And he is only, let's see, he's 14 seconds behind Kenny Libert in 6th, who's a very experienced driver. So I would say watch out for Van den Brink. He is looking very, very good.
Here's a sight that I bet Nico DeConnick didn't expect Kenny Libert coming up to lap him and his teammate there. It's just it's not a good day for Nico though, is it?
No.
Or it's a very good day for Kenny.
I think it's very much. It's both of those, isn't it? Because Kenny is Kenny's a very competent driver. He's a very competitive Super Cup driver, as we've now discovered. I think he took part in some WS rounds. He was pretty good then as well.
He's done a couple of Super League races as well, actually.
Has he really?
The last couple of rounds, I'm sure I've seen him at the. I couldn't tell you the results off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure he did the last 2 races.
I think he was racing for Green Stripes in Apples, wasn't he? So yeah, he's sort of come back after. He was here at GPVWC before, got a bit miffed with it, had a rest, and he's back. And he's come back, I think, after looking at him from before, a much, much better driver, because he's now consistently up the front there. To be fair though, I don't think Nico will beat me without letting him pass. It's a Belgian for a Belgian, isn't it? And I think, where is Nico currently in the zone? I mean, Nico DeConnick is 16th. He's only, one more position gained and he'll get a point. So, he's still in with a chance of points there.
We are running out of that time now though.
We are, but you can never really count out a last minute retirement. I mean, we've seen so much drama this season across. I mean, the one thing that I remember most was Harry Niemann at the Formula Challenge round in Germany, where he ran out of fuel literally 20 meters from the line, and he lost like 7 places. More than that, I think.
We had a few, didn't we, where they've had punctures going over the line, and just making it or not just making it. Was a few last corner incidents as well. In fact, was it Hardwick as well at one stage? I'm sure he lost out to a podium position from a puncture. I seem to remember Roy Scroton coming over the line as well with a.
Yes, I remember. Oh, that was just last round as well, wasn't it? When he went for the entire race without stopping.
It's like,
and it worked.
Just impressive, isn't it?
But that's it's the strategy. It's all about the strategy, though, isn't it? Yeah, some people are nutty enough to go for those crazy strategies where they think, you know what, I reckon the tyres will be fine, and then they aren't. They absolutely blow up in their faces.
Well, we've still got Mike Bell and Bennett who haven't stopped, haven't we? Hansen's just gone past Bell actually now, so he's dropped back another one.
No, he hasn't. Hansen is a lap behind. Oh no,
is it?
I lied. Hansen's 2 laps behind.
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
I mean, Morten Bernardson, I mean, I did say they had to watch out for him. Morten Bernardson has got past the tuna now. But Mike Bell is in P12, and he is the leader of the guys who are only lap once. And Scott Burnett is still there in P14, and comfortably ahead of Matt Williams in P15. So given that their tyres hold out, I reckon that they should be alright. And we are actually at 1 out of 1 hours here, so I reckon we've only got a couple more minutes to go, I would say.
Well, I'll keep myself on Cooper then, shall I? I think that'll be the best bet, as he could be any moment coming round to win.
And we simply don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you look at the gap that he's extending now to Jason Muscat. I'm sure Jason Muscat must have had an off somewhere, because he's lost like 7 seconds in the past 10 minutes. He's now, I mean, the gap's now up to 10.7 seconds. Looking at the gap between Johnson and Johnson, I think that's come down again, hasn't it? That's now...
They do look a lot closer.
Let's see, it's 1.6 seconds between the two. So it was over 2 seconds, now it's down to 1.6 again. Whether Johnson can catch Johnson in the next couple of laps, though, debatable. Let's see, Kaylee Bear, pretty safe there. Oh, we've got battle between Clont and Jacobs here. The P8 and P9. So Clont's actually got ahead of Jacobs in the time we've seen off screen.
Very close. If I'm right in thinking, we've got 1 minute 32 left. I think that's right.
And if that is the case, a lap around here is 1 minute 40, so this should be the last lap, Cooper, I think.
He might go over the line. It depends if he times it well enough. I remember James Johnson last time out, just slowing himself down so he didn't have to do another lap, because he was losing a lot of time. Oh, certainly.
It's brilliant to purposely slow down to win the race.
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought that would make sense.
You see that in?
No, that's why this makes it so interesting, though. It's so different, the World GTs, isn't it? It's fantastic. Just all the little things like that.
Set laps. It's just an hour's racing. Let yourself go wild.
And then the pit stops take forever. You know, like, so it's such a thing. Whereas the ones in the Formula Challenge and the well, not the Formula Challenge, you know, SL and all that, they're really quick. You get yourself out, you don't lose a lot. Here, you've got to really think about it, because you lose like half a lap at some tracks.
Very true, isn't it? And got just as I say, I keep on going back to David Jump from last race. He was absolutely gutted with the fact that he misfueled it, and so, but you know, never mind that. We think that coming around the final corners now,
there's about 10 seconds to go, and he's got about a corner left.
He slow down, Alex.
Yeah.
Is he going to slow down? Is he? Well,
I don't think.
I think
he went over the line.
It has. No, it is. It's time.
Is that it? Is he done?
It says time here. It's done. So there you go for his fourth
he's
race
finished.
win this season. He was not content with letting this championship die with him as driver's championship, and then he'd be like, "Oh, fine, I'll go." He's won a fourth race here in the World GT this season. He's won 4 times as many races as every other person who's even won a race. Worthy driver's champion is Alex Cooper, and he's just shown why he is driver's championship here again today at the legendary Imola circuit. Jason Muscat on debut, a stupendous second position for him. Really, really impressed, and I think he's going to, of course, a lot of team owners' eyes with that drive. David Johnson did in the end come home for his 3rd Odium of the year, coming home in 3rd. James Johnson, after his win...
Oh, has Mike Bell run out of fuel on the last corner? My apologies, I think...
Oh, no.
Sure,
he has!
Sure,
what did I tell you? What did I tell you about running out of fuel? Does that mean Nico DeConnick has got a point?
I think actually DeConnick just got over... Let me just check this.
DeConnick is definitely 15.
Is it? Yeah.
Because he was 1 lap behind.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He just got to bring it home, hasn't he?
Gutting.
That's a shame.
Gutting. Yeah, let's see. Where did everyone else... Oh! What's happened here? Michael Ballard ended up 6th instead of 5th. Kenny Lee Bear came home 5th.
That's very true.
We completely missed that.
My apologies there, everyone.
Ballard was 6th then. No, that's fine. I completely missed it as well. Let's see. RTS result for them, 7th and 8th for Vandenbrink and Klomp respectively. Jacobs came home 9th, Mark Stanton 10th, Morten Bernsen 11th. That's Vikings' first points in World GT. They'll be very happy with that. Boy Brosen came home 12th in the end, so he'll be happy with some more points there. Scott Bennett on his no-stop strategy came home 13th. Good result for him in ST. Matthew Williams came in 14th, Nico Johnny 15th. George Sumalis actually finished the race this time for
Alex
TriStar.
Cooper doing donuts there, because it still matters to him. He's doing donuts, as is Jason Masker.
Let's see, Mike Bell was 17th in the end, classified. The reason he was 17th was because Frode Hansen was 2 laps behind, and Philip Morby, who was our last finisher, was 3 laps behind after taking a stop-go penalty after some rather reckless driving from what we saw. So overall, 11 retirements, that's a third. It's been kind of like a repetitive thing now. The attrition rate in World GT is going up and up, really. And it's either third, half of the participants now just don't make it to the end of the race. Third retired there. And a shame for some of them, given that it wasn't their fault, but for the other half, you know, needless mistakes, it must be said.
Yeah, well, that's just part of the love of this, isn't it, really? That's a different beast every time you get in this type of car, so you do end up with some interesting drives from some of these drivers as well.
Right then, well, I think we're going to be wrapping up here. You know, as we say, we bashed this together as best we could, so no real possibility for
just like to say, the people that have been here, that technically we've had at least 3 watches throughout the whole of this, so I applaud you guys for sticking with us,
you know
of all things.
Thank you so much. I mean, that's how popular the World GT is. You know, we've got such avid viewers, you know, just always wanting to be there. As we say, if you are, we should have this up on Twitch or Facebook or something or other.
I'll get this on YouTube somewhere for us all.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, we basically went through briefly what happened at the start, so it's not too bad. And it's, I guess it is irony that my first race commentated here at GPWC was plagued by technical issues. Last World GT race of the season for me, plagued by technical issues. I'm not sure who's going to be commentating on the final round of Watkins Glen, but I'm certain that they're going to have good fun doing it because everyone sort of lets their hair down at the last round of the season. I mean, the Nürburgring for WSS was absolute carnage, so I can't imagine what the World GT is going to be like.
Oh, you should have popped in. I'll be there, don't worry if you... But yeah, you should pop in for the party, at least for a few minutes. It wouldn't be the same without you, James.
I'm not going to be there, though. I'm going to be at uni. I'm going to be fully at uni.
Fully at uni? That's
Which is a
real shame.
Fully at uni, yeah. It's, as I say, it's what World GT has been, out of all the series I've done this year, absolutely my favourite. And if I do get the chance to commentate on it once again next year, I'll be taking up with both hands, absolutely. But I guess from us two here, myself, James Kirk, and ever-present Mike Pitman, we hope you've enjoyed this as much as we have, as much as I have, and do join us for the last round of Watkins Glen. It promises to be an... Oh.
Sorry, James, I don't know where you want to bother. We've got David Jump waiting for an interview.
We do? Oh, bring him in then. Let's have a quick interview with David Jump.
Your last interview, how about that? I know we were going to cut off there, but let's, you know.
No, we're going to change your plans very quickly.
Fine. There we go. There's David.
Hi, David John. You get the pleasure of being my final World GT interviewee for the year. So for you, not exactly the sort of hype stuff that we were seeing from you last time, but the third podium for the year, you must be very happy with that.
Well, yes, I am. Well, and I didn't expect that one because, yeah, short training time, I didn't quite get up to speed, and I saw the distance about 1.5 seconds on my best lap before qualifying, and I thought, okay, that's not gonna be race-winning material this time. I need some rain, but well, I had to do without, and I think it worked much better than I expected, and it also worked in favor of Norton, I guess.
Hey, well, I'm surprised we didn't have rain, given that we had Mike here as well. He's usually Mike the Rain Man Pitman, so surprised we didn't have any of that. But actually, with you getting third and James Johnson getting fourth, Nordgen has definitely gained points on football, especially with Oskari Cantonen scoring. We've only got one more round to go now at Watkins Glen, and let me see, so there's 16 points for third and there's 13, so you've gained 3, so that means that the gap between you and Vodball is now 6 points. Do you think, over the case of Watkins Glen, you will be able to claw back second in the team's championship?
I haven't plated it. You did that nicely for me, thank you.
Pleasure.
With 6 points, I really think that it is possible to claim second at Watkins Glen if we're good. I mean, Franz Snyder could have been here, but he kind of forgot the race was this week and not next. So I had to do without, and well, I put my challenge. I gave a challenge to the Vodbulls because I qualified ahead, and okay, I was quite happy to see that one retired, and then okay, I saw JJ all the time behind me again. I thought, not Bruno again, not this kind of driving again. And after the pit stop, I thought, okay, I'm coming out. Okay, just about 1.5 seconds. Okay, what's he done again? It's like Bruno again, but this time he didn't gain. He didn't get ahead of me, and I just kept him behind me. I just saw the Corvette and I thought, no, I'm not gonna let you go. And so, third place. And if I can beat him here, and well.
David, that moves you into third in the driver's standings now, ahead of Lucas Euler as well. So you only you jump yourself ahead of Oscar and Lucas. It's only going to put you, let me get this right, about 17 points behind James Johnson going into the final round. So you never know, that's still possible as well to come just behind Alex Cooper.
Yes, true. Although 70 points is of course a bit more than. Well, quite a bit of wood to cut down, but with third I'm really happy because the season started very bad. I had some problems, and then after that I just got it together, and since then I've been finishing in top 5 positions, and it's been really improvement for me this season. So I'm really happy to be in third, and maybe push James a bit so he does not make any mistakes at the last round, or thinks, oh, I can go home, don't have to drive. Well, we'll see. Maybe I can get second. Maybe the team as a whole can get second. But letting that go for now and see what Watkins Glen will bring to us.
So, well, perhaps we could bring James Johnson in here very quickly. I know this is a massive diversion from cutting off the show as it is, but I think I'm so annoyed not commentating on this anymore, because this is going to be the big story. Second and third in the Drivers and Teams Championship. Junt v Johnson, Vodbull v Nordgen. James, from your perspective, fourth in this race, a good result. But the gap between yourself and Junt in the Drivers is now 17 points in your favour. The gap between Vodbull and Nordgen for the teams is 6 points in Vodbull's favour. Do you think that you and Vodbull are going to be able to hold on to those second places of Watkins Glen?
Yeah, that's all I got to say, really. Yeah.
I love the confidence, James. I love it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I love Watkins Glen. One of my favourite tracks that I'm looking forward to this season. I've always done well there. The last time I raced there, I finished second. The race before that, I finished second. So it's somewhere that I kind of enjoy going. So
it's almost like an omen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Second drivers, second. You know what? The only thing which isn't second is that it's not the second to last race, it's the last race. And you know, I tell you what, if any of you guys watching are not watching that race, I will be very disappointed, because you should be watching that race. It promises to be absolutely great fun, and yes, there's no championship on, but I think that the battle between Nordgen, Vodbull, Junt Johnson, and everyone else around the field, who knows who could spring up a surprise, Mike? Just watch it. It's going to be absolutely brilliant.
Oh, believe me, I'll be watching. I'll be there. I'll be talking about it.
You'll be there.
I'll be rooting on James. I might have to get rid of my impartiality for once and properly go for it.
I got my holiday, so. Woo!
You enjoy your holiday, sir. I'm certainly going to enjoy my uni life, and it's been a pleasure commentating on the World GT series with you, Mike. Yeah, hopefully we can do it next year. We'll see what happens, but I think we should wrap this up now because we've been rambling on for far too long. So anyway, from myself, James Kirk, from Mike, the Rain Man, but not so Rain Man today, Pitman, who has been effortlessly getting this stream ready and camera work and co-commentating. He's been excellent all the way through. From all of us here, it is a very warm goodbye.